What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a story time on how I found out I was pregnant with Xavier and how it just changed me as a person, getting pregnant at a young age. And yeah, so it all started when I was 16. I met Xavier's dad and fell in love, the whole 9 yards. I was head over heels for him, and he was just a really toxic person. I'm gonna just start off with that. He was the most toxic person ever that I've ever been with, or just ever met, really. He didn't have his priorities straight, and me being me, I was so young, dumb and stupid, and I didn't see it because I was so in love with him. Like, love is really blinding, and I didn't realize it until after I had already, cut him off and stopped messing with him. But I found out I was pregnant with Xavier when I was 6 months pregnant. I had just got back from my grandparents' house from being with him because I was sneaking around seeing him, and I had just got back from, being with him, and I had came home to my mom's, and a few hours later after I got home, my stomach started hurting so freaking bad. It was hurting so bad. I do remember that. It was so crazy because I was in so much pain. Well, my brother comes out of his room and he's like, oh, she's pregnant. Now, remind you, I got pregnant on birth control. So me, I'm sitting here saying, no, I'm not pregnant. I'm on birth control. I can't get pregnant. I haven't missed a shot. And I was on the shot for 2 years before I even got pregnant. I've been on it since I was 14, 15, because when I had first started my period, it hurt me so bad. I was in the floor crying because the cramping, and I was bleeding so heavy. Well, once I had got on birth control, my mom put me on it because so it would slow my period down, the flow. So I got on birth control, never missed a shot and everything, and yeah, I ended up pregnant. Well, anyway, back to the story. I always get off track. Anyway, so my mom takes me to the hospital. So we go to the hospital, and I get back there. They're asking me all kinds of questions, could you be pregnant? When was your last period? Stuff like that, like they normally do. I had to pee in a cup. Well, I'm sitting back there. I'm so nervous to hear what they gotta say, and I'm still hurting so bad. And so we wait, and my pee results come back. Well, whenever they had just came back, my mom went outside to smoke a cigarette. And the nurse, right when Mom walked out the door or whatever, the nurse came in the room, and she was like, so your results came back and you're pregnant. So I started crying, my heart rate went up. And she's like, you need to stay calm because of the baby and everything, and you don't need to be stressed out because you're carrying a baby or whatever. Well, my mom comes back in after smoking a cigarette 5-10 minutes later. I'm still sitting here crying. And it's once Mom walked through that door, I knew, I feel like she knew. She knew right when she walked in that door what she had said. But she was still asking me, she was like, what'd you say, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Mom, she said I'm pregnant. And she was like, what? And I was like, Mom, I'm pregnant. And my mom starts crying. She's pissed off, mad. She calls him and cusses him out. And he's like, how far along is she? And he didn't believe it. I was on birth control nobody believes it. I didn't believe it. And yeah, he was so so bad of a person. He was like, I don't even think it's mine, blah, blah, blah. You know how childish boys are. I'm not even going to say man, he's a boy. Anyway, well, we leave the hospital, we get back home. Mom does not speak to me whatsoever. And I go to her, I'm so depressed. After I found out I was pregnant, I was so depressed, didn't want to eat, I didn't want to do anything. On top of that, me and him was arguing every freaking day. Like, literally every day we'd argue about the littlest stuff. And I was depressed. Like, when I'm telling you I was depressed, like you know how you see them girls on movies and stuff and how they don't get out of bed and they cry all the time? That was me. Like, I'm telling you, that was me. And now that I look back on it, I'm just like, I was so stupid. Like, how stupid. Like, I don't think I've ever been that low in my life. Like, I don't think I could ever be that low in my life ever again. But I was so dumb. Anyway, so after all that, we was arguing every day. Like, I was still seeing him and everything, but we just argued. Like, it was so bad. Well, one day he comes to the house, to my mom's house, and sees me. And he was going to stay the weekend, actually, with me. But it was like 4 hours into him being there, 4 or 5 hours of him being there with me at home. He was like in the middle of watching a movie or something, and he starts throwing up out of nowhere. So, me being me, like, I'm telling you, like, I was so blind of everything, he started withdrawing at my mom's house, and he had to call somebody to come get him, and he had to leave. And I was like, I'm done. Like, after watching him withdraw in front of my face, he was like, no, I'm just sick. No, I'm just sick. I was like, no, that you are not sick. It's the middle of the summer. Who gets sick in the summer? You know, like, that was me, like, how I thought. Well, once I seen him withdraw in front of my face, I was like, me and my son do not need this in our lives. Like, I gotta better myself for him, and he wasn't trying to do that with me. Like, better himself for our baby that we're finna bring into the world. So I stopped talking to him, stopped everything. I mean, it took me a minute to get over him, but I knew it was best for me and Xavier. So I had to leave him alone. So I got me a job, got me a car. I was still going to school and everything at first, but you know, you have to sacrifice stuff for your kids. And I was going to work full time. I was so tired, but it was for the best. I made sure me and Xavier had everything we needed, and I was doing it by myself. Well, after I stopped messing with him and just cut him off and out of my life, me and Jay started talking again. Now, me and Jay, we've always been on and off. Like, he was my first everything when I was younger. Like, he took my virginity. He was my first boyfriend ever, for real. So, like, we had broke up for a whole year, and that's when I met Xavier's dad. And then after I stopped messing with him, Jay just texted me one day, and we started talking again as friends at first. And because I had just got out of a relationship with Philip, and I didn't really need to focus on any boys at the moment. I needed to focus on my son and staying consistent, focus on him. You know, he was young. And Jay, he was there for me the whole end of my pregnancy, even after my pregnancy. Well, I mean, me and James always had bumps in the road or whatever, you know, disagreements and fights and everything, but we always made it through it. But he was just there for me throughout everything. He was there whenever I went into labor. He was there in the hospital the 3 days with me after I had Xavier. Everything, he was there. And ever since then, me and Jay just been together. So it really changed me as a person, though, because now, like, I look back and I'm like, you know, I regret the stuff I let myself go through with him, but I wouldn't take anything back if you get what I mean. Like, I wouldn't, you know, I don't regret getting pregnant or anything, or having Xavier or anything. I regret some of the choices, I would say, but now I'm just a better person now that I'm a mom. Like, it really just, I don't know, calmed me down, I guess, because all about the whole partying, stuff like that. Now I just could care less about any of that. You really, after you have kids, you do not have the same friends that you used to have. You do not have any of the people you used to hang out with, you don't hang out with, like, now, after you have kids, because you just fade away. They just fade away because they're still about the whole partying and the whole getting drunk, and you got kids at home, so you can't do that. Which I'm not saying that in a bad way, because I'd rather be at home watching movies, Disney movies with my kids, or whatever, than being out doing anything else. So, but now I just look back and I just can't even believe I dealt with that, or I even went through that, because now I guess I didn't know what I deserved at the time, and especially after you have kids, you realize a lot more. Like, it just changes you in the best ways. Now, I'm not going to say it changes everybody, because I know some moms out there still do the whole partying and all that. And I'm not saying that I don't party, because every now and then, like, very rarely, like maybe once every 6 months, me and Jay will go to a party or something that one of our friends are throwing or something like that. But, like, I know some moms that have kids that are not around them and are out doing everything crazy, like partying and crap. And then I know some moms that are like me and just stay at home all the time with their kids. But now that I've had kids, it really changed me as a person and everything. It was overwhelming at first, but I dealt with it. And yeah, that's really all for today's video, and how I found out I was pregnant and all that. So now you know how it all happened with Xavier. And now an update on today. His dad is in jail, and he's with me perfectly fine and spoiled rotten as can be. And his dad we are in the middle of like child support, and we already got like the DNA test back. He's his. And really now we're just waiting on him to like get out of jail, get a job, pay child support. And really I'm just going to put that up for Xavier for like his first car, college, everything like that. Because really we're doing perfectly fine taking care of him, me and Jay. So with him working and me working, we're doing perfectly fine. So yeah, that's all for today's video.
TK.